Hello, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today we're looking at the early release of Nanatsu no Taizai, The Seven Deadly Sins. Now, with whatever's happening in Japan on a Monday, they have released these earlier, which means earlier release or scannulation of these chapters, which basically throws my schedule for a loop. But if it's here, I'll review it. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this review. So point number one. The aftermath. Merlin is just excited with the capture of her test subject. She's not really seeming so interested in Fraudrin at this moment in time. Using this to his advantage, Fraudrin escapes, keeping everybody else on high alert. Now this is interesting because does she know something that the audience or the other members don't know, because she is highly intelligent, highly cunning? Or is this a weakness in the character of Merlin, because she seems to be only interested in her own goals at this point? You could take it both ways. I'm hoping it's the first, because if it's the second, the reliability factor is a little bit dampened because of that. But that's point number one. So, point number two. In the escape of Fraudrin from where Merlin was, he gets intercepted by Hendrickson. Hendrickson naturally feels guilty of everything he's done, and he wants to redeem himself by saving his friend. Now, the problem with this is, how does he compare to someone like Fraudrin, who's meant to have like a power level in the 30Ks at this moment in time, being that he's one of the 10 commandments, albeit not the original, and that's being Galther, but still. Knowing that his attacks don't work, he still uses them as a bait so he can use a purge technique. Unfortunately, it is unsuccessful, leaving him on the brink of death. At the very last minute, he is saved by someone, which sets up point number three. But the point is, what did he really have going on in his mind, thinking that he could beat someone of that much difference? Does he know something that we don't? Again, it's the same type of thing. Has he lost his mind, or did he really think purge was going to work? It's hard to say at this point, but like I said, on the brink of death, he is saved by a person. That leads on to point number three. Point number three. The identity of the person who steps in. The first thing they see, and the readers see, is a Thunderbolt. Initially, people thinking this is Gil Thunder, being that we just saw him a little bit ago, it would have made sense. No, this is a bigger surprise. This is Zaratras. No, this doesn't surprise Hendrickson, which is a little concerning considering it was one of the 10 commandments that brought him back. It obviously surprises Hendrickson because Hendrickson didn't know he was alive, and he was like crying and like, oh, we killed you, and he's like, I'm alive. He starts pulling his nose or his cheek, and that was a cool scene, and it sets up point number four about the team up. Now, again, going back to the point about the concern, regardless of the effect of this chapter, the next chapter, and what happens with Dreyfus / Fraudrin, who is the one of the 10 commandments that has brought him back, and how will this impact the scheme or the plot moving forward? It's a question that I'd like answered, but I'd leave that with you, the audience, to maybe come up with some ideas and let me know in the comment section below. But that's point number three. Point number four. The team up. Now this team up looks good. I think from a choreographical point of view, for the way it's drawn and the way the action is kind of put panel to panel, it looks really good, and I really like the usage of the lightning technique, the Rajin technique. It gets to a point where even Fraudrin acknowledges the abilities of Zaratras as a human, being one of the strongest holy knights around, the great holy knight, being the superior of the 7 deadly sins. Although we know some of the 7 deadly sins technically is stronger, I think stylistically from a swordsmanship point of view, his skill is probably unparalleled. Power point of view different. Obviously we saw the flashback between him and Meliodas, but it really pushes Fraudrin back, which is weird in a sense because he's meant to be like 10 times more powerful than Zaratras, and Zaratras basically says, if only we had more openings we could have done a purge. Which means they are even struggling to find weaknesses, to which he finds out purge doesn't work, and then he goes, if that is the case, then we will need to do something else. So he has something in mind. I wonder what that is, and I wonder what the outcome of that is. Now we'll have to wait and see to find out, bearing in mind Dreyfus's body is technically weaker than Zaratras' body, even though Zaratras was brought back from the dead. So I have an idea what's going on. That's going to set up speculation for point number 5. Because to be fair, by the end of point number 4, everything in the chapter is really covered. Point number 5 is always going to be for speculation then. Point number 5. Because a lot of the chapter is covered, I think point number 5 should be about speculation in these situations. And it's the question, what's the situation with Merlin? What's the situation with Hendrickson? Why is he so crazy and hellbent to save his friend when he knows he can't win? Has Meliodas rubbed off on them, maybe? I don't know. And what is this technique that Zaratras knows that maybe Hendrickson didn't know? So we know purge doesn't work. What if this technique is a body swap? I keep thinking of Dragon Ball when Captain Ginyu swapped his body with Goku, and potentially that being the technique or a similar type of technique that can come in play, where Zaratras takes on the soul of Fraudrin and that frees Dreyfus's body from being possessed. Potentially that might be it, and I think that would be a good way for Zaratras' return to be kind of fulfilling, Dreyfus's storyline to be possessed and all that stuff to be taken up, and then potentially for Fraudrin's point of view, having a stronger vessel or stronger body to work with will ultimately leave him in a better position power wise, making the most of the body. It doesn't really tie up the end idea that he is a revived body, but it's just an interesting idea or an interesting or different angle. For those who do watch this video, for those that like the series, please let me know in the comment section below your thoughts, suggestions and theories. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate that. And I'll see you next time. Peace.